Let's take a look at 5-point perspective. I often like to start by tracing something circular. All right, so we are going to have a vanishing point at the top. I'm going to go ahead and extend this vertical line down, and we'll have our vanishing point at the bottom. Then same thing, we'll have one on the left and the right. Go ahead and extend that over, and then we will have one in the center. So we have 5 vanishing points. One, two, three, four, five. And feel free to order them differently if you prefer, if that's easier for you. What I'm going to do now is similar to 4-point perspective, where I am going to extend some curved lines down from 3 to 4. And this is not perfect. There are grids for these online. You can definitely do a Google search to see that. But for the sake of this demonstration, I'm just going to go ahead and sketch them in. And it's just easier for me to draw them going this direction. So I find rotating my paper helpful rather than trying to move my hand in a weird position. So whatever's easiest for you, you can definitely measure these out. Again, I'm just doing this kind of quickly. All right. Now we are going to repeat this with 1 to 2. So again, if it's easier, you can rotate that paper. And I'll do this other side. Some of these are a little rough, but that's okay. All right, there we go. So there is our 5-point perspective grid, really loosely sketched. But what I want to mention about 5-point perspective is it's actually pretty similar to 1-point perspective in a lot of ways. You'll see that as we get started. So, like 1-point perspective, we start with just the shape, whether that's square, rectangle, you can get into other shapes as well. But we're going to start with a square. So you have a grid on here already. So what you can do actually is just forego the ruler for a moment and just choose. You can add lines in too, but for this first one, I'll just use part of the grid that's already here. Draw that a little darker with my pencil. Something like that. So then what I would do, similar to 1-point perspective, is the 3 edges I would see will go down to the vanishing point, those 3 points. They will converge to VP5. I'm going to draw this just a little darker so you can see it, but as always, I remember to draw lightly just because there's erasing in perspective. So, all right, so something like that. And then to close off the form, you would actually use these little grid lines again. So this one here, I could close it off and then I would bring it back here. So you're actually going to, one of the other vanishing points. It's just you can use the grid that's already there. And then, like all perspective that I've showed so far, we do some erasing inside just because we're imagining that this is a solid box. So it looks something like this. And then I can erase these lines. Now, of course, I am erasing a bit of my grid. I can just redraw that as needed. So the cool thing about 5-point perspective is as you shift to the different quadrants, they kind of shoot out in different directions. So it's actually that idea you can make it look like a city on a world that's kind of popping out. So yeah, you can have a lot of fun with it. And there's some other things you can do with 5-point perspective. You can use it as a reflection, kind of like a fisheye within a 1-point perspective drawing. So you can definitely combine perspectives, which is fun. So the other thing is you don't have to go all the way back to the vanishing point as long as it's headed in that direction. So sometimes I will do that just to lighten up on some of my erasing. But if you don't feel comfortable doing that, if you like the idea of going all the way to that vanishing point, you certainly can. And then when I would get to these lines here, I would find the curve. Actually, that one needs to go up a little bit more. Clean this up. A little all over the place here. Here we go. And I go up that way. That looks better. And then I can clean clean this up. So we'll just go ahead and draw a few more. You can layer them, stack them. You can make them taller, change the shape. There you have it, some basic boxes in 5-point perspective.